Since even before the word alpha male became a thing, many men out there have been, let's just say, trying to play a role that doesn't fit them so well. Now, in this world that we live in, there are a lot of insecure men, and oftentimes these men behave in ways that they think are alpha, only to find out that they are not alpha at all. Now, it's good to know what a fake alpha is, so you don't end up becoming one without even knowing it. The fake alpha is similar to the bully in high school or the guy who is always really loud, aggressive, and trying to be overly intimidating. But the biggest difference between a man who is viewed as a genuine alpha and a man who is simply viewed as a fake pertains to dominance. I always remember this. A man who is only pretending to be alpha is a type of man who will actively try to dominate and control other men while also trying to assert himself as the most dominant man in the room. But a genuine alpha is the type of guy who never tries to dominate other men, and yet at the same time, most people, including these other men, tend to view him as the most alpha or the most dominant man in the room. It's like when you look on YouTube and you see the guy who is posing in front of the Lambo in the big house, and when you look a little deeper, you find out that he's trying to sell you a get-rich-quick scheme. If you ever get the opportunity to meet somebody who is truly rich, you will find that they don't actively try to convince you that they are rich. The same concept applies to men who are actively trying to convince you that they have alpha qualities. It's like if you were to go outside and you see a rock. The rock doesn't have to convince you that it's a rock because it's obviously a rock. If you were to go outside and a tree was yelling at you saying, "Hey man, look at me, I'm a rock." After you're done questioning your sanity, you would probably wonder why the tree is so bent on trying to convince you that it's a rock when it's obviously not a rock. Unfortunately, the way that our society works is that, in many cases, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, or the guy who yells the loudest is often the one who gets hurt. This is why the bully in high school is able to operate for many, many years without anybody ever challenging him because, in many situations, the bully is actually a large and rather intimidating person, and so he is able to get away with what he does. It's like the moment that you have to go out of your way to prove something to somebody, most likely you really aren't that something. The greatest difference between a real alpha and a fake one is that the real one spends his time actually living as an alpha or being an alpha, while the fake one actively spends the majority of his time trying to convince other people that he is one. This is the main difference between a real and a fake, and as soon as you understand this, the easier it will be to spot the difference within yourself. It's like if you're truly rich, you don't have to spend a single minute trying to convince people that you're rich. People will meet you, and they will pretty quickly realize that you are most likely rich without you ever having to actually say a word about how rich you are. Your typical fake alpha is kind of like the lion from The Wizard of Oz, always trying to act tough, always trying to convince others that he's the toughest guy in the room when he is really the most fragile, the most scared, and the least alpha of the group. So don't be the guy who spends all of his time always trying to convince other people that he is alpha in the most obnoxious ways possible, and instead spend your time actually being alpha or actually living alpha. And with that said, until next time, thanks for watching. So, you have watched this video till the end. So, I have something for you. I have created the masterclass for the guys who want unlimited power and dominance in their relationships. Guys who want to generate attraction instantly without having to rely on lame pickup lines and openers. Guys wanting to get their ex-girlfriend or wife back and never to see her leave again. Guys who want the ability to make women fall in love with them at will. Guys who want authority and dominance in their love lives and never to be seen as weak again. Guys who want to get out from the dreaded friend zone and get into the lover zone. Guys who want to have choices with women and have a relationship without the drama, confusion, and headache. Guys who are getting back into the game and want to sharpen their dating skills with the best attraction techniques. Guys looking to turn a casual friend or coworker into a devoted lover and get her to be physically and emotionally addicted to them. If you don't take any action to understand women in your 20s, you'll suffer heavily in your 30s. So buy it right now or regret it. It's on 50% discounted rate. Buy before sales ends. Buying links in the pinned comment and description.